Kim Caldwell will make the Final Four in what year?
Oh, I'm going 2026.
2020. Okay, so the options are 2025, 2026, and I think it's worth noting that she has a bevy of talented players come in. Well, she's got 3 of the top 10 McDonald's All-Americans. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and then just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say never.
Well, wait, go 2027 in there and then say never. Give them 4 options.
That's what I did.
Oh, okay. All right.
By the way, there's a debate going on about Austin Price. He does a great job. What's the deal? He does get excited about guys. I think I'm just going to say this: recruiting services want everybody to come because there are 3 things that drive recruiting services so that you have more of a membership. We just give away prizes like this John Henderson mini autograph helmet. All you have to be is a member of the channel and email me, and I will get you a fantastic prize actually, it's a gift certificate. I will get you a gift certificate for Hound Dogs of Knoxville off DavidOffTheHookSports.com. All right. So, okay. All right. I got it. Okay. That is funny. All right. So let's turn to this Lady Vols basketball team. What did they do over the weekend before we get to the poll question?
So after getting what was very clearly their biggest win since the 2008 national title when they beat UConn on Thursday, they struggled on Sunday to put away LSU. No shame in the loss. They played the LSU Tigers, who are 25-1 and 10-1 in conference play, and number 6, and they played them on the road, and they lost to them by 5 in what was another close, tough loss. They didn't shoot. This was the type of game where they'd have to shoot hot from 3 to win, and they just couldn't. And LSU was making the free throws down the stretch, so it just wasn't. They could never actually get back in it. And again, they don't have the size to beat an LSU team out of the half-court sets and the defense like that, and it did cost them in the end.
I love what, before we get to the poll question, what David Speaks has to say, because I absolutely love this sort of passion and venom. David says, Kim Mulkey knows this is the last year. She'll have a better team than us. Caldwell has this team playing with an edge. Do you agree or disagree with that comment?
I don't know if she knows it, but I do think it's the last year. Kim Caldwell's got a loaded recruiting class coming in next year. And I also think that Kim Caldwell showed another side of her against UConn that I didn't see, which is she when the game is forced into the half-court sets, she can coach out of it. Dave, I can't believe I'm saying this, but and you're seeing this more as parodies come around. Yeah, he's got 11 national titles, but having watched that game on Thursday with Kim Caldwell for Gino Auriemma, as an X's and O's tactician, Gino Auriemma is not that good of a coach. I can honestly say that watching that game. I
don't think he ever was. Okay, now I'm going to say something that's crazy. Pat Summitt was a good tactician of a coach, but not great. And
totally agree.
And she coached great defense, which that was incredible. That's not. So we're dealing with a B plus, an A plus, and then she recruited, and she got most of the ones she wanted when Gino didn't steal. So that's an A plus. So Kim Caldwell, it's a much more open league. Let's take a look at the poll question. If you don't mind, pull that up. Brought to you by Work Trucks, all about trucks that are actually available, trucks that help you maximize your profits by having the right work vehicle now. Time is money. The perfect work vehicle doesn't break down, has all the space to carry what you need. That's what Work Trucks is intent on offering, while other dealerships just can't do it. Contracting is about time. Work Trucks saves you time with less back and forth trips and trucks that pass the highest standards to be put to work. Process quick and easy with Work Trucks, cargo vans, utility body trucks with an app-hide work bodies installed. Pick up trucks of all sizes. If you're a contractor, you got to know about Work Trucks because they'll save you time, which means save you money. Whole question is?
Kim Caldwell will make the Final Four in 2025, 2026, 2027, and never. And I just can't believe somebody voted never. But do you want me to give the full results?
Give the full results, sir.
All right, 14% say 2025, 57% say 2026, 21% say 2027, and 7% say never. I'm with the majority. I'm 2026. But she'll win her first national title in 2027. All those young players she has next year, Dave, you'll kind of see a growing pain period. Like you're seeing, like they'll look like this year's team in the regular season, and then they'll all kind of come together and figure it out in the tournament.
I know they're not as young, but they might look a little bit like the men who are trying to learn how to play together with Igor Dubar, and that you just got a different set of group. I don't care if you're all 24. I mean, there are times when Anthony Davis and LeBron James look like they had never played basketball before early in their career.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they'll put it together when the tournament comes and make a Final Four run, but just the experience will cost them in the Final Four within a whole off season. 2026, 2027, I think they're going to run the table. I mean, I'm not saying they'll go undefeated, but I bet you that I wouldn't be surprised if they stay number one the whole year, 2026 to 2027. Like if it's like one of those situations where they just stay number one the entire year, or at least it never fall out of the top 3 in the rankings.
Built in a lab. Okay, so I'm going to go with 2027. And the reason I say that is because I just mentioned that. I know that we think of football players and they're big, huge, and strong, but there's something to be said for conditioning and the way Kim Caldwell runs things. And if you look at Josh Heupel, how many times have his receivers not seemingly been in the best condition to go out there and run routes on a consistent level? Kim Caldwell with the up and down style, I think they'll have to get conditioned. And then Kim Caldwell with the fact that you just have 3 new key players will have to mold them all together. So I'll go 2027. Never always has to be a factor, Caleb. But man, if you made me bet right now, my bottom dollar, I'd take Kim Caldwell.
If you're saying never, what you're saying is, and I'm not saying you're wrong on this, for those who vote that, what you're saying is Kim Caldwell runs this system, which is, full court press, play the steals, keep up the tempo, and run 5-on-5, or 5 in, 5 out to go 10 deep. But on actual like possession to possession coaching, you're saying she can't adjust or do anything like that. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like basically you're saying she has a system and she just runs that system and lets it be, but she doesn't do anything like special beyond that. That's how you could see the never. That's where I think we somewhat had the concerns with Josh Heupel in football, right? That he just ran a system, but couldn't like coach possession to possession. Now, I don't know how you feel. I think Josh Heupel is better at that. I mean, he adjusted his offense this year when he had to. So, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's the coach that just runs the same system all the time. And then there's the coach that adjusts based on what other teams are doing, what they have personnel-wise within the confines of their system.
Okay, I realize this is blasphemy, but did Pat Summitt just run the same system?
No, she adjusted. Not greatly, but like remember the 97 national title team, the second of the three-peat, that was a more guard-oriented team, and they backed in. They didn't back in, but they didn't look good in the regular season, and in the NCAA tournament, Pat Summitt played tempo more than she had her whole career. I think the problem is when Pat Summitt had to start playing tempo more later in her career, her only problem was she couldn't get the guards that Gino could get. Gino always had the guard-oriented system, so UConn always had a monopoly on the guards.
Golly, Maya Moore is like one of the few players that I would look at and think maybe she could hang with the guys. I mean, yeah. I know she couldn't. There's a big difference in athleticism, but man, she was one of the few that I was like, maybe she could.
Well, I mean, Ron Slady and I were talking about this last year, funny enough, but we talked about like if Caitlin Clark could start on the all-time Lady Vols or all-time UConn team, she'd have a better chance with the all-time Lady Vols team because the best Lady Vols players are the post players. She wouldn't even make the 2 deep on UConn's all-time team.
Oh, hey, can I run? David said something I thought was really insightful. I think Kim Caldwell has had a more competitive team in her first year than Warlick and Harper ever had. Now, he's talking about their entire run, but has this team been more competitive?
Holly Warlick's first 3 teams were competitive. Remember, her first 3 teams, she won 3 SEC titles in 3 years. The program wasn't falling apart yet. She had 2 number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament and a number 2 seed. They always lost a game they shouldn't have once the NCAA tournament arrived, and that was always their biggest issue during that time period. But you couldn't fully say that. You couldn't necessarily say that they weren't competitive those years. I just think that, she dramatically underachieved. Now, the final 4 years Holly Warlick was at Tennessee, oh yeah, they were not competitive. They were not competitive at all. Kim Caldwell's teams, Kim Caldwell had one team reach number 4 one year based on a really easy schedule and then not do anything after that. So, not Kim Caldwell, excuse me, Kelly Harper. So those teams weren't competitive.